Welcome, mothers. Welcome to this incredible event hosted by Branches. Welcome home. My name is Rivkah Weinberg. I'm a proud shlucha, a proud Bais Rivkah alum, proud to carry Rebbetzin Rivkah's name, and especially proud to be the mother of my most incredible and only daughter, Mushka, who's a Bais Rivkah 11th grader. What does the word home mean? So we know that home is a place where we collect a lot of dirty dishes. A home is a place where everybody can say whatever they want, but not everybody gets heard. A place where you can reach your 10,000 goal steps a day and reach it before breakfast has even started. The definition of the word home in the dictionary is a place where a person lives and a family living together under one roof. The Hasidic meaning of the word home is a place where we're all sitting right now. Thank you to every one of you that took your time out of your evening to come out tonight and join us for this special evening in our own Hasidic home, Bais Rivkah. The home of thousands of past, present, and future mothers of Hasidic homes around the world. Please join us in saying the Rebbe and Rebbetzins Kapitlach on the screen, and there's tzedakah on everybody's table for you to give. This year marks 80 years since the founding of Bais Rivkah and will be celebrated throughout the year with many different events for all ages and stages. Just a few weeks ago, Bais Rivkah hosted an event for the entire school from preschool through seminary. I actually watched it on Zoom and it was really beautiful. Tonight, we're celebrating with the mothers. On Zion Shvat, there will be an event for the fathers. There will also be an event for the faculty, for the alumni, and finally, there will be a writing of a Sefer Torah for the entire Crown Heights community. Please turn your attention to the screen for a short video of 80 years of Bais Rivkah.
Friedrich Rebbe started Bais Rivkah in New York City 80 years ago. In a small little apartment in Borough Park, Bais Rivkah started. Eventually, it moved to a school in Brownsville on Riverdale, in a building on Stone Avenue. There was about one class of every grade. Very heterogeneous student body. There weren't only girls from Chabad, from all over, but they never had a high school. And then we heard the news. They were establishing a Bais Rivkah high school. A Bais Rivkah high school? Why should I go to a new school that was never tried? And my father said, no problem, we'll write the Rebbe. Fine. So I wrote to the Rebbe, I don't want to be, and I used the word, a guinea pig. And then 2 days later, I get a response. He crossed out the word guinea pig and wrote Chalutza, a pioneer. When I graduated Bais Rivkah High School, there was one grade, one class of every grade, and we had a very special schus. We actually went into the Rebbe's room. All of us graduates wearing our little white frilly dresses, and the Rebbe spoke to us in his room, only to us. And we felt the Rebbe's care, concern, and love. And ultimately, the school every single year grew more and more. From one class became 2, and from 2 became 3, and from 3 became 4, and then 5. And today we have 6 classes of every grade. So as the school changed and grew and evolved, and Snyder Avenue became much too small for us, we finally moved to Crown Heights. Kan Tzivah Hashem es habracha.
I remember in Church Avenue when I started working in Bais Rivkah, something close to 35 years ago. The 4th grade was 2 classes. Kenai Nahara, the 4th grade this year is 6 classes. So we've simply grown in numbers. Our building has grown. You look at Church Avenue. Church Avenue was this tiny little brick building, and we've moved to this beautiful campus, Chumash.
And we thought, how are we ever going to fill up these rooms? It's too big for us. We don't need so many rooms. And then as the years went on, 1 more room, 2 more rooms, 3 more rooms, 4 more rooms, 5 more rooms, 6 more rooms. And today, there's not enough room.
Das ist aber keiner von Kita-Kreis Bais Rivkah Brooklyn. Bei ihrer Auflesung Iloi Nishmas hat sich kein Maschkar geschaut.
Ja, wir waren Psyri Stevich in der Fachatzloche. So geben wir Zdoke. Ja, die von der Kita sind geben wir Zdoke. So, das waren noch wirklich ein Pesach. Die Masbisa steht in Tewe, an jeden seinen Reis von Mitzrayim in des Fuß, wo die Fruen haben sich umgeführt, wie sie darf zu sein. Die Frauen heißen die Erwachsenen und die Kinder und die kleinen Mädchen. Die beweisen da ein Beispiel. Die ganze Mischproche.
I truly believe the secret of Bais Rivkah is because we're the Rebbe school.
Whether it's the morning subjects or the afternoon subjects, whether it's a program, whether it's an activity, it's always permeated with the Rebbe.
So when you look at a Bais Rivkah girl today, she's not an entity only into herself, but rather she's part of a much larger picture.
The Eibishter chose that they should be able to have the schus, to be educated in the Rebbe's Meiset, and to be called the Rebbe's Kinder. From the youngest grades on, they know that they're coming to Bais Rivkah and it's their home. It's a place where everybody cares and loves each other. And when they leave and you meet the girls in the streets later, you see them, the girls 20 years later, and that bond, the family bond, greets you once again.
There's a saying, once a Bais Rivkah girl, always a Bais Rivkah girl.
Although parenting is a work of pure love, we can all be honest and admit that there's really challenging times to parenting as well. Thank you to the most dedicated organizers of branches, Goldie Kalmanson, Hadara Friedman, Chana Paltil, and Sarah LeBlau for committing to partnering and supporting us moms in the journey of bringing the light, warmth, and passion of Yiddishkeit and Hasidus into our homes through podcasts. The podcast is called The Optimizing Mothers, and it's available everywhere. Zoom events, social events, counseling with licensed professionals in all areas, chinuch classes, and more. And now introducing a video about branches.
My dear daughter, I waited and anticipated, and I dreamt of your arrival. How would you look? What would your personality be like? How would I raise you? And how will you learn? I dreamt a dream of love, you cradled in my arms, a dream of happiness, you cracking your first toothless smile, a dream of growth, you taking your first step. But from the moment I met you, it wasn't a dream, it was a commitment. I will cradle you till you're sound asleep. I will hold you tight when you're afraid. I will catch you when you fall after your first step. I will celebrate every milestone, large or small. I will take you on walks, talk to you for hours, answer all your questions, wipe your tears away, and always be there to welcome you home. And then it's time for school, and once again, I'm dreaming. My dear daughter, I wait and anticipate, and I dream of your arrival. What will you learn? Who will your friends be? How will you do in school? I dream a dream of mitzvah notes, a dream of beautifully colored and parsha sheets, a dream of your siddur party, your first chumash test, your social life. And just then, the bus pulls up, and I can't remember the honk ever sounding so beautiful. As you bounce off the bus, straight into my arms, I wrap you in a hug. And I don't dream anymore, I commit. I will write you endless mitzvah notes. I will listen to your parsha sheets. I will make your siddur party a day to remember. I will study with you, figure out your social drama with you, listen to you complain about all the work you have to do. I would love you and transmit the values I hold so dear to you. And I will always be there to welcome you home. Dear mothers, we all dreamt the same dream, to have children we are proud of. We all made the same commitment to do our best to make that happen. But life is life, and no matter how we try, we're not in control. There are challenges, so many things pulling at us from all directions, and we forget. We forget how much we want to give, how much we want to care about every detail on every parsha sheet, Hasidic Yom Tov crown, and siyam. Mothers, we are the ones that take our children's love for Yitzhak Kislev and show them it's real. It's not just a fancy crown and yummy treats. It's something we care about. It's how we live our life. It's why we live our life. And it is our life. Every time your child comes home with a story or an experience, when you show you care, you are taking the chinuch your daughter gets in school and making it a part of who she is, not just a part of what she knows. So the next time you welcome your child home, remember that you are their role model, their vision of what truth, dignity, and royalty looks like. So when you show that Hashem, His Torah and mitzvahs are important to you, you are watering a seed that has been planted by a hard-working Mora, a seed that will grow into a beautiful tree with branches, with wonderful fruits, who will bear more trees with more fruits. Let's take a moment to reconnect with our vision and align ourselves just a little bit closer, so that the next time you welcome your child home, you can remember to welcome them home with the same commitment you made on that very first day, a promise of what chinuch really means.
Die Fühlung und der Wille, die Stimmung und der Arbeit in der Huis hängt das auf an der Keres Abayis und der Proof von der Huis, wo sie wird angerufen nach Keres Abayis, der Iker von der Huis, und an ihr hängt da, a der Huis soll werden am Migdosh Miyad, a Huis, in welche der Ewigste sagt, wie Shachanti Besecher. Und das ist ein Huis, wo dort kommt darauf die Schchina. In der ganzen Huis, der Fall, wo sie gefühlt sich in der Herzen von jeder, was gefindt sich in der Huis.
Mrs. Chana Vigler, along with her husband and 10 children, are Shluchim of the Rebbe in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Chana's warmth, talent, and dedication has led her to inspiring women around the globe. She has a passion for making Yiddishkeit fashionable, relevant, and relatable through her exquisite themed tablescapes and sophisticated events. However, Chana's greatest pride is being a mother to her beautiful children who are many leaders in their own right. Please join us in welcoming Mrs. Chana Vigler.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for having me here tonight. I am humbled to be standing at this podium. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my enormous hakaras hatov to the school of my youth, all the way from Mora Malki in kindergarten, Mora Adi in pre-1A, and all through seminary. Bais Rivkah provided me with a chinuch that has very much molded me into who I am today. Mora Tachtel, Mrs. Brower. When my great-uncles were around 8 and 10 years old, they suddenly came home from school one day due to the fact that their tuition had not been paid. My great-grandmother, Baba Chaya Posner, took them by the hand, went right back on the train with them, back to school, straight into the director's office, and pleaded with them. She said, "In many years from now, when I am older, I might have all the means necessary to cover the tuition owed. But the chinuch of my children is something that has to be done now. By then, it will be too late." Touched by her words, he, needless to say, took the boys back into school, and both of these brothers became scholars and leaders within the Jewish community. As mothers, our job can seem daunting. We give birth to these children, and we have just a small little window of time to instill in them, to impart all the values and all the lessons that we would like our children to take with them through life. We don't want our children to grow up viewing Yiddishkeit as a superficial routine that they just have to get through every day. Especially today, our children need real substance. We can't expect them just to do things because that's how they've always been done, or because if they don't, they'll get punished. Our children need to practically see how Yiddishkeit is precious. And this cannot be done through preaching. Rabbi Manis Friedman once told my husband years ago that the job of a shliach is to make people jealous of him. Jealous of his family, jealous of the love and respect with which he looks at his wife, jealous of the attentiveness he gives to his children, jealous of the serenity around the Shabbos table, and just in general of the life that we lead. I very much feel that this really applies so much to our young and impressionable children. If we exude happiness and joy and positivity in living a frum life, thank you, although I have nowhere to put it here. No, that's it. Chances are extremely high that they will want to lead the same life. I often think of our homes as like a little miniature, our own little miniature Chabad house. If we were to just slap a sign on our Chabad house and expect people to just join and be excited to come in, I don't think we'd be very happy with the results. And really the same is with our children. We can't expect them to just be excited and just be inspired by what we're doing just because that's what we're doing. And more importantly, we need to constantly ask ourselves, how does our home feel from my child's perspective? Is it a haven, a place of love and comfort, a safe place to share what's on their mind and heart, a place of good food, good times, laughter? I know this to be true because I've experienced it. I have been infinitely blessed with wonderful role models in my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents who have taught me not with words, but simply by being who they are. Their dedication to the Rebbe and to his ideals have shown me what it means to live a life full of joy, meaning, and purpose, and gave me the drive and the passion to pass it on to future generations. There's an old famous saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Truer words have never been spoken. And you don't need me to tell you, and I actually never saw the Rebbe say these exact words, that our moods and our reactions set the tone in the home. The Rebbe was so practical and so down to earth. It's always mind-boggling when I see the words coming straight out of his mouth. Simply the way we react to different situations can cause a huge shift for our child watching. Recently, our family was blessed with an unusual gift that quite literally landed from heaven into our laps. A brand new baby boy that I did not birth joined our family. We firmly believe that he belongs in our family and is a part of our family, but Hashem just had a creative way of bringing him to us. 6 months later, I gave birth to another baby boy, and we expanded our family by 2 children. This was a big shift for our whole family. It was of paramount importance to us, to my husband and I, that our children not feel resentful by this change, and on the contrary, they should feel how lucky and blessed we are to have been chosen for this awesome position. So naturally, we made a really big deal out of both of these boys. At this time, I noticed that my 3-year-old daughter, Devorah, was throwing tantrums every single day after school. At first, I thought this was just one more thing on my plate. But then, when I took a second look at it, I realized that this little girl, who was always the star of the show, and trust me, she still is, had 2 new people that came and were taking some of her thunder. I realized that she needed more time than I was giving her. And so I started doing mommy and Devorah time with her. We mostly just sit and I hold her in silence. Sometimes we'll read a book. But the point is, I'm showing her that I'm there. No amount of explaining how she holds a special place in my heart as the 3rd to youngest will ever mean as much as the time I spent holding her, not saying a word. And she'll often come over to me now and she'll say, Mommy and Devorah time. And then she'll add, without Shmulik or Gershom Mendel. She doesn't want that. Just mommy and Devorah time. And she herself knows. And I realize, okay, we need to go have mommy and Devorah time. We have a special swing outside. Our children notice when we are annoyed. They notice what we prioritize. They pick up on our Chassidish values when we demonstrate their importance. When my kids see my husband wake up every morning at 5 a.m. to learn before he becomes involved with his hectic schedule, it shows them that the importance of Torah learning is worth waking up an extra 2 hours early. And I'll actually would like to mention my mother-in-law who was here, who definitely instilled in all of her children the value and the importance of Torah learning. And definitely, you can see being passed on to the next generation. When my daughters see how much I love the challenge of dressing fashionably yet sneistically, they don't simply understand that sneis helps us express what we really are in a dignified way. They know it. We can't just tell our children to have a relationship with Hashem. We need to model what that looks like. When we make Hashem a constant part of our interactions and work him into our daily conversations with our children, then they understand he is a real part of our lives. When we're in a rush to get to a store and make it just in the nick of time and say, wow, thank you Hashem that we made it, our children pick up on the attitude and that our attitude and thought process should always involve our gratitude and acknowledgement of him. But showing our children the beauty of Yiddishkeit is not enough alone. In order for our children to love and implement the values we show, they must feel that not only is Torah and Chassidus something that is beautiful to us, their parents, the older generation. I never thought I'd ever say that about myself, but apparently the day has come. But also something that is theirs, something that they connect with too. As long as it remains in the realm of what their parents believe, it can be respected and admired, but it will not necessarily cultivate a feeling of warmth and ownership in their practical day-to-day life. This possession is found when we involve our children in their upbringing and help them make it their own. The other night, I was putting Devorah to bed. As you can see, she's very much the star of the show. And she looked up to me and she said, Mommy, I don't want to say Shema. So instead of acting scandalized, as she probably was expecting me to, I said, that's okay. You don't have to say Shema tonight. And then I just started telling her about how Hashem loves when we say Shema, and that it helps us it keeps us safe, and that it helps us not have bad dreams. Immediately, she turned around and she decided she wanted to say Shema. Instead of forcing her to take my convictions and appreciation for Shema, I simply helped her transfer it into her own tefillah. As I'm sure you can relate, some of my proudest moments as a mother are when I see my children intrinsically value what they have. When our oldest daughter, Musya, was around 6 years old, my parents invited her to go to them for a Shabbos. I think it was even Shabbos Chanukah. They wanted her to come for a Shabbos. She looked up at them and she said, I can't come. We have a community. We love to repeat that story. It made me so proud to see that to her, she took this responsibility so seriously, that it wasn't that this was something that her parents chose and this was our role in life, but rather she was a part of it. And this is what we ultimately strive for our children to willingly apply what we emulate. When we give our children a childhood where they live Yiddishkeit, not only through a list of rules, but through interactive experiences, they attach their own particular feeling and meaning to it. This is why every Shabbos, although it's the busiest day of our week on Shluchas, Shabbos day, everyone knows, is family time. And although we have a big Hiddush and Shul and everyone's stuffed and can't eat another piece of food, we come home and we sit at the table and we go through all the parsha sheets, and every single child has their own individual song that somehow has their name in it. That's another conversation. And we tell Chassidish stories and just enjoy each other's company. And it often lasts until Shabbos is over, especially in these early Shabbosim, involving our kids in warm Chassidish atmosphere in which they are active participants. There is a reason why one of the cornerstones of Jewish education in schools and in yeshiva is chavrusa learning. The back and forth, the arguing, the delving, the expressing their own opinions and ideas obligates each person to fully immerse themselves in the learning process. Yes, there is a teacher in the front to field questions and help the learning process flow, but The actual understanding of the concepts are done through students grappling with the ideas themselves. Without it, it's just being spoon-fed. A similar perception can be applied to our children's interactions with Yiddishkeit. The Jewish home is Yiddishkeit's greatest classroom, and the Jewish mother is its greatest teacher. The children must involve their own selves to fully accept and appreciate Yiddishkeit, and it is the mother who orchestrates and guides this whole process from the day her child is born. She ensures the environment, means, wisdom, and is the support to allow her children to grow and learn throughout the process of childhood. Our children should know that they are our priority. Even with everything going on, they are what is most important and precious. The other day, I was nursing my little baby, who's only 10 weeks old, and I was scrolling on my phone when I looked down and I saw his big eyes were staring straight at me. My heart broke into a million pieces thinking about how long he must have been looking up at my expressionless face. When I first told my husband the story, I couldn't even say it without choking up. It broke my heart. Putting down our phones, being present for our children, noticing their little quirks, having a discussion about the chumash they're learning in school, this has to be what we show our children. Our primal love as a mother, the basic necessities in a child's day, and our Jewish values are not compartmentalized. We can infuse our love and our tending with these values, creating a loving spiritual whole. Being that each of our children happens to have a birthday in a different month of the year, it's pretty convenient. Each month, another birthday, and they're actually in order, interestingly. It was not planned. We like to take this opportunity to make a big deal out of each birthday and make the child feel special while focusing on the spiritual components. They have their favorite supper and whatever birthday theme they want. As you saw in the video, we had an animal theme last night. Our son Zev is a wolf. Zev is a wolf, and so he loves animals, and so we had an animal theme last night. And of course, the highlight, his birthday is actually tonight, but we did it last night because I wouldn't be there. And the highlight, of course, is the brachas that they give each other. And it's always so funny to me when you hear a little 3-year-old wishing her 14-year-old or her 60-year-old to have a lot of nachas and should have a lot of children and live till Mashiach. Those are the favorites. All of this is to create a Chassidish atmosphere of love and care that our children will remember. This is why, especially during COVID, I put in a lot of effort to set my table nicely. Incidentally, this is when I actually discovered my love for it. I want my children to look back at their childhood and remember family time, the conversation, the connection, the divrei Torah, all of it as something precious. I know that if I put the effort in to show my children how important they are and how meaningful a loving and Chassidish family is, that is the best way to ensure that they will pass it on to future generations. I know this importance firsthand since I put effort into my table because I remember my Bubby Krinsky doing the same. Bubby Krinsky was actually one of the first Bais Rivkah students as we're celebrating 80 years. When I think back to my youth, I love to remember the beautiful table my Bubby would set and the obvious care that went into making family time special. This feeling that I connect with is what makes me want to give the same experience to my children, who will in turn feel the love and value I place on each of them. I feel so grateful to my parents and grandparents who showed me the power of motherhood and the ability we have to shape our children's lives. They truly lived and breathed the words, Ashreinu ma tov chalkeinu, and how openly fortunate they felt to be Chassidim of the Rebbe. This is the legacy that they left, and I try every day to live up to it. That, to me, shows their success. I daven every day that my children will look back at their childhood and feel they received the warmth and love towards a lifestyle they chose, just like I did. My great-grandparents, the Posners, came to America about the time the Frierdiker Rebbe came to visit in 1929. As a welcome to this country, the neighborhood kids would knock off the yarmulke of my great uncle. Chatzah Fagan advised that the Frierdiker Rebbe was seeing women and children, which I guess was something new at the time. My great-grandmother went in, I guess my Zayda Shalom was shechting at the time, and she walked in holding one child by the hand and another in her arms. And she was already crying. How can I raise Yiddish Kinder in a so schwere Land? She said to the Frierdiker Rebbe. When she looked up, she saw that he was smiling, almost laughing. And she felt abandoned by the laughter, hurt that her pain wasn't being reckoned with. And then the Frierdiker Rebbe turned into a serious tone, and he said, "It is take a schwere Land, but here you shall raise Yiddische Chassidische Kinder." She often told that story, and when she was no longer encumbered by short-term memory, she would repeat that story every 5 minutes, reliving the moment in its intensity and full spectrum emotion. And she would end off, "Aber ich hab nicht gelassen die Brache sitzen. Ich hab es durchgearbeitet." I didn't just let the bracha sit. I didn't just rely on the bracha the Frierdiker Rebbe gave me. I worked at it and let it work for me. So, I want to bench all of us in this humbling journey of motherhood to have tremendous koyach and success in living with the values that we hope to impart to our children, and in giving our children a Yiddishkeit that is not simply of their father and mother, but a Yiddishkeit that, through their active participation, is a Yiddishkeit that they can call their own.
Thank you, Khanchi. That was really incredible and pretty impressive that you traveled here with a newborn. Wow. That's a whole nother level of motherhood. And thank you to Menucha Oster for the beautiful intro video on branches. Now, what would a Bais Rivkah event be without song or dance? So let's welcome three mother-daughter duos, starting with Clara Chaya and Mushka Epstein from elementary school. If everyone can please look at the stage to your left, to my left, and enjoy.
Times like these, it's hard to see past the insanity in a reality so uncertain and unknown. Life as we knew it, forever changed, and there's no peace of mind to be found. Who can even make sense of tomorrow when our dreams keep crashing to the ground? And yet, as we rise to greet another day, and the sun is so bright in the sky, always a reason to hope for better times. Though it seems like the answer's worlds away, we've got enough, just enough to keep us going, holding on to unbroken simple faith. 'Cause a yin never breaks, and a yin never bends, and a yin never gives up in the night. A yin perseveres through the deepest experiences, and Muna strengthens him for the fight. And a yin Emunah strengthens him for the fight. And a Yid understands that Hashem has a plan, and that's all it takes to make it through. His Tata loves him. That's what a Yid holds on to. What a Yid holds on to.
That was really fabulous. I think that song's currently my family's favorite song. We listen to it on repeat like 1,000 times a day, and each time it just sounds nicer and nicer. So thank you for that. Next up is Esther and Charna Freeman from middle school, and Esther is known as Esther's Music on social media. Esther and Charna.
As I stand in candlelight with my hands upon my eyes, there's a passion in my prayer that rends the skies. For a mother's tears can shatter every gate as she prays. All the heavens will echo those words that mothers say. Vizakeni, Vizakeni, the future's in our hands. Help us walk along your way. May we never go astray. May we give our parents nachas. Oh Hashem, accept our plea. Give us strength to keep the Torah. Vizakeni, Vizakeni, Vizakeni. Take my children by the hand. Help them walk along your way. May they never go astray. May they know you as I know you. Oh Hashem, accept my plea. Give me children who give nachas. Vizakeni. As I stand in candlelight, while my home is dark and still, there's a calling in my soul I long to fill. Will my children be great leaders? Will they make the Rebbe proud as they help others like candles and say the bracha loud? Vizakeni, Vizakeni, the future's in our hands. Help us walk along your way. May we never go astray. May we give our parents nachas. Oh Hashem, accept
Now I'm doubly blown away. Forget it. The talent here is unbelievable. Wow, another favorite song of ours. And next up is Dina and Chava Bronstein from high school.
Dearest mommy, I'm writing this letter to say the things I've never said. From my impression as your daughter, these thoughts are running through my head as far back as I can remember. You helped us grow and do what's right. Each mitzvah filled with special meaning, with a glow that shines so bright. You made our home a house of Torah, encouraged Tati to learn each day. You stood beside him during hard times. You gave him strength in your own way. You taught us all about the mitzvahs, showed us the right way from the start. We always saw your love for Torah. You instilled it in our hearts. Soon your children will grow older. Each one will go their separate ways. Following your footsteps, you've made us who we are today. Soon your daughters will be mothers. They'll do the things you've taught them to. Not only did you build your own home, but mommy, you built our homes too. Not only did you build your own home, dear mommy, you built mine home too.
Dearest daughter, I look on with awe as I see how you've grown. My heart swells with pride as only a mother could know. A beautiful young lady you are today, no longer the child of yesterday. From the moment you were born, I held your hand tight, protecting and guiding for all to go right, to help you blossom and be the best you can with an encouraging word and supportive hand. A dugma chaya, I tried my best to be, instilling strong values in our family. Chasidishkeit with fine midas, to always be real, the pride of a chassid, to always feel. Just like my mother imbued in me to live with a purpose and practicality. Tznius is beauty with dignity and grace. The importance of chinuch from a very young age. To give is to get, to look out for others, to always stay close as sisters and brothers, to express your talents in ways so refined. In all that you do, should your edelkeit shine. I would lower my knees to peer in your eyes. I look up to you now as the years have gone by. Admiringly, I stand here at your side, filled with much nachas, my heart swelling with pride. As a daughter, the role of Akaras Habayis you share, filling our home with your nurture and care, with responsibility and warmth, always doing your part, with eagerness, love, and a happy heart, absorbing the tools you observe and see to practice one day in your own family. I step to the side to watch you create. I'll be there for you in any which way. As I release my hold and loosen my grip, I smile proudly with a tefillah on my lips. Hashem should give you the strength to continue to thrive. Mechayel el chayel, to the highest of heights. You should always be gesund, gashmias and ruchnias health. Every bracha Hashem should give you with an abundance of wealth. Overflowing the keli you make yourself to be, with brachas galore and revealed goodness to see. Dear daughter, hatzlacha in your journey ahead. Hashem will guide you in every step, in building the future with your special light, guiding the next generation to do what is right. Standing firm and proud, fulfilling the role in bringing Mashiach, the ultimate goal. It's a schus to be part of the foundation of your home, which you will soon build and make your own. Continue giving nachas as you always do, and let your heart feel the warmth of my deepest love for you. Love, Mommy.
That was incredible. Every part of it. Thank you. And if we think we can't top this, there's actually a finale. Thank you to Clara Chaya Epstein for writing and directing the finale song. Really excited to hear you again.
To me, dear daughter, I want you to be a proud yid and feel what's true. Hashem loves me, I know, from school and from my home. I learned the tools so Yiddishkeit's my own. I lay awake at night, hoping I can raise you right, sending you to school each day with your teachers will light the way. This raging galus storm, combated with your warmth, showing me how darkness can transform. Your passion and your chayis too makes me want to be like you. I know my school will teach me what to do.
Than watching you grow as we guide. One day you'll be a mother too.
Mothers and daughters, the cycle endlessly goes on, holding on to our truth so strong. Just as my mother taught me, I'll teach my daughter our duty to bring Mashiach, fill the world with love.
our video? Okay. So if everyone can look at the screen, we'll be showing a video of another new project by Branches called It's Not Just a Story. The video will explain what the project is about, and the winner of the project, the winner of the book, will get to write a book, and the illustrator will be Chenchi Bronstein, the sister of the talented Chavala Bronstein. The video.
When you look at this scene, what do you see? Bonding, connection, growth. How about learning? Stories are one of the most effective chinuch tools in an educator's toolbox. As the Rebbe explained, as part of chinuch, one should tell stories. A child may be afraid of learning something difficult. Stories banish this fear. They rouse the interest of the child so he wants to hear more and more. Every story should have a lesson of goodness and kedusha. No, it's not just a story. Reading is an opportunity to foster joy, love, and Hasidic values in your child. So, what's your story? What message do you want to impart to our children? Do you have a Hasidic concept you wish to bring to life through a story? Do you have a grandparent's tale that is begging to be told? Branches wants to get your message into every Bais Rivkah classroom. Here's how it works. Write your story up in any form you'd like. Submit to branches@bethrivkah.edu by February 10. The winning manuscript will be illustrated, published, and placed into every classroom from Head Start to 3rd grade. Additionally, the author receives a cash prize. Because it's not just a story. It's passing on our legacy to the next generation.
Everybody has a paper on your table about the contest, so you can take it home to remind you to be a part of it. I'd like to introduce Dina Rosenfeld, editor and chief creative director of Hachai Publications for almost 40 years, who has directed and published most of our favorite stories that we still love and enjoy till today, to talk about the power of a picture book in connection with our project, It's Not Just a Story. Dina Rosenfeld.
Good evening, everyone. I am so honored to be here tonight in conjunction with this exciting new project. Needless to say, picture books are my favorite art form. And make no mistake, it's a true art form. The picture book is very unforgiving. It has 2 covers and a spine and just a few pages inside. And within this tiny package is a whole world. If you have a child who is feeling down, or a child who is misbehaving, or kids who are bored, pulling out a picture book, sitting down, and opening that cover is an introduction to a whole world and a journey into a world of ideas. Every picture book starts with an idea, and every Jewish picture book starts with a Jewish idea. And what you're being asked to do for this project now is to start with a Hasidic idea, some Hasidic concept, a story of the Rebbe, anything that lends itself to illustration. Because in a picture book, the text, the beautiful polished words that we love to read over and over, and the images work hand in hand. So for a picture book, for pre-1A through 3rd grade, the story needs to be pretty and soft. It can't be too scary and it can't be too graphic. So That's a challenge in and of itself. A picture book is more than the sum of its parts. And often people say to me, why don't you produce books with tape, or books on CDs, or books with images and video? And part of it is exactly what the keynote speaker was talking about. In order to bring a picture book to life, you need someone to read it and someone to listen. And if you just put it on a cassette, or years ago it was cassette tapes, and now on a DVD to watch, the experience of going on a journey with a young child, or a child of any age, would be diminished. When you're reading a picture book, you can't be doing anything else. You can't be on your phone. You can't be having a conversation with someone. It's just you, the reader, the child, the listener, and the book that brings you together. I always bring books with me because there's nothing like looking at them. It's actually, for me, I like bookstores better than candy stores. And it's kind of like looking at and eating candy. So here's what I brought with me today. It's remarkable. This book is by Sarah Blau. You may have met her. And the big idea is that a very young child can learn what does daimem, tzameach, chai, and medaber actually mean. You wouldn't know it just by reading these innocent little words, but in truth, that's the content of this book, based in Chassidus and based in real Teichen. Okay, why not? The concept of Melech Basadeh, something that is taught by the Alter Rebbe, it can be transmitted, the idea can be transmitted in a story, in a storybook, with that same shiny cover and the pretty colors and the words that rhyme. Oh, thank you. Sure. I'm always holding books. How do you teach children what the Rebbe wanted a birthday to be? Well, you can just tell them, or you can read them a story about it. And when you read it in a story, the message carries even more. We even attempted at Hachai a project that was probably the most challenging. Have you ever seen the book, I Go to the Aisle? This is what could be more of, I didn't write it, but it was an honor to have a hand in it. How can you make a book about the aisle engaging and alive for children? And I think that this book does the trick. All of these books are gifts, and the book that you will write is a gift as well. I could go on and show you stacks of books, but the one that I want to leave you with is this. The most exciting book is the one that's about to be written. You will fill the pages, you will determine what goes on the cover. You will take an idea, a story, a heartfelt concept that you want to transmit to the next generation and bring it alive within the covers of this book. So I can't wait to see what you come up with, and I want to thank Branches for initiating this beautiful, beautiful concept. I'll go home and write a book. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, the next favorite part of the night is the raffle, of course. I really hope I pick myself. It's a great gift. Color palette by Mashi Bronstein. Does someone want to come pick it? Chana? What's that? Oh, okay. I'll use the right bowl because it's my right hand. And the winner is Iti Marazov. Is Iti here? I hope you are. Otherwise, we have her number. The Rebbe says in Hayam Yaim that we should take a half hour every day to think about the Torah education of our children. This means that we don't stop thinking about our children for even one moment. But we're all tired, we're overworked, we're stretched thin. There's so many things pulling us from all sides. We also live in a time where we have access to so much, and we all live very well and comfortably. So how do we go about this? Do we think twice about the mitzvah of lighting candles for Shabbos? Do we think twice about the mitzvah of tefillin? We don't. Then a half hour a day is really just zooming in to what's really on our minds 24 hours a day, the chinuch of our children, the most important thing in the world to us parents. The Rebbe says to sacrifice what's not important and focus on what's really important. Our children's Yiddishkeit, Yiras Hashem, Yiras Shemayim, can only happen with our investment, thought, and love toward our children. Thank you, branches, for actively stepping up and holding our hand on this unbelievable journey. And thank you everyone for coming tonight and joining in such a special event. I have to say a real thank you. It's been silent the entire night. Not one phone went off. Rabbi Hackner noticed that no husbands called their wives to see where they are. It's been a really beautiful event, and I'm so honored to have been part of this event with everyone tonight. If you look around the room and on the tables, there's papers with QR codes. So you can just scan it on your phone, and you're able to give your feedback about the event and any ideas or comments that you have for branches to continue doing their incredible work. Thank you, and good night. No, give it to me. Where's the list? I can read it while everyone's leaving. I don't have the list. Goldie has it. No program can happen just by itself. So thank you to the following people for being such an important role in making tonight happen. Rabbi Shalom Goldstein, all the principals, Sarah LeBlau, Hadara Friedman, Goldie Kalmanson, Chana Paltil, Menucha Oster, and thank you Menucha for making the beautiful Branches video as well. Musi Berkowitz, Alti Raskin, Raskin's Fish for their chocolates, Chantilly for their desserts, Rabbi Wolf, Smadar, Esther Edelman, Clara Chaya and Mushka Epstein, Esther and Charna Freeman, Dina and Chavala Bronstein, Sterna Rappaport, Rifki Pearl, Dina Tiger, Rifki Shur, Mindel Zaitz, Maryashi Oster, Simi Selinger, Batya Engel, Rivka Sarah Bashari, Daniela Friend, Bryna Webb, Rachi Shachat, and anyone else who was involved and's name was not mentioned. Thank you everyone again for coming to such a special evening together in Bais Rivkah. Thank you to Kosher Town as well. Anyone else? Here's the winner of the raffle. Reminder to say a bracha acharena on the delicious food that you ate.